السلام عليكم اخوي، شو تبغى تشرب؟ عندي كرك، عندي عصير برتقال، عصير تفاح، عصير.
سألتك شو عندك؟
لا.
قلت لك خبرني شو تبي؟
لا.
ليش تقول لي؟ قلت لك خبرني شو عندك؟ الحين قول لي شو عندك؟
عندي كرك، عندي عصير برتقال، عصير موز.
بس؟
عندي بسكوت بعد اذا سويت.
صب كرك، صب فنجان الكرك مالك.
تفضل.
شو؟
كرك.
حاط فيه شكر؟
ايه.
اي شكر حاط فيه انت؟ سوي واحد ثاني، سوي واحد ثاني.
ان شاء الله.
شو هالناس هاي؟ انت عايش على الكرك وتعرف تسوي كرك؟ شو حياتك انت؟
تفضل اخوي.
استغفر، عطني اياه. جيب القلاص عدل. صب واحد ثاني. فرفر، اخذ واحد جديد، خذ واحد جديد. ناس عايشين على الكرك ما يعرفون يسوون كرك، شو حياتك انت؟ كم حسابك؟
20 درهم.
شو؟
20.
20 على شو؟ بس 10 بسك 10 بسك. 20 اول. كرك ب 20. كرك ب 20 اول. شنو هاي؟ الناس كيف عايشين؟
تعرف كيف عملية القالب؟ شوف يحس عدل شوف يسخن الكورة قلت. اوه هذا الفرق. عطنا شو ثاني.
شباب روم ملعب؟
ايه
امنوا.
شو ايه؟
نعم اخوي.
كيف تبغى تلعب ويانا؟ انت جوتي ما عندك. كيف تبغى تلعب ويانا؟
سير جيب جوتي عقب تعال العب كابتن.
انا بتحدى حارسكم اللي تمتحونه، يلا روح.
انت بتتحداني انا؟ يلا تعال اكل الكرة، ابغى اشوف كيف تجيب علي جول.
ترى اقول لك شوف، لو انا افوز شيل جوتيك.
بس اوكي. يعني بتقول شل الجوتي مرة منصوبة.
عبد الملك, who would win for a fight between Spider-Man and the Batman?
Well, that is a very interesting question. Well, first of all, not just to say that I'm either a Marvel fan or a DC fan, but in all fairness, I would say that Spider-Man would probably win, and here is why. And in an issue issued by Marvel showed that Spider-Man's powers are actually too powerful to the point that if he punches a human normal being, he would be able to smash his head in. And that shows how powerful he is. Like for instance, when he's fighting Doc Ock or the Green Goblin, he would usually like use 20% of his entire strength to actually defeat the villains. Another prospect is that Batman, as capable as he is in terms of how smart and intelligent and his capability in the martial arts, he is still a human being with very, very strict limitations. Even against Superman, without him using kryptonite, he wouldn't be able to face Superman at full strength. I would break down the idea of how Marvel deals with its stories and how DC would deal with its stories. Well, first of all, I'll talk about Marvel in a bit. Because how popular the Marvel series is nowadays in the cinema, you are portrayed with superheroes that don't mind killing the villains and the goons that are surrounded by the villains, for they're not that important. However, in DC, you would have the superheroes be afraid of actually committing such a crime. So I would break down the idea of how Marvel deals with its stories and how DC would deal with its stories. Well, first of all, I'll talk about Marvel in a bit. Because how popular the Marvel series is nowadays in the cinema, you are portrayed with superheroes that don't mind killing the villains and the goons that are surrounded by the villains, for they're not that important. However, in DC, you would have the superheroes be afraid of actually committing such a crime, and then so that's the contradiction. But at the same time, DC actually is a dark themed story with a lot of backstory that shows a dark history. For instance, like Batman's parents getting shot, which causes a chain reaction which leads him to becoming the Batman. But in Marvel, it's a light-hearted, mainly based for children's amusement and children who are looking for a superhero as a person to look up to. It's quite different because, again, on Spider-Man's behalf, he actually lost his Uncle Ben when he actually lied, and then his uncle got shot by a thug. And that also spirals him into becoming who he is, which is the Spider-Man. On a evaluation type of level, you would categorize as Spider-Man being ahead of Batman in terms of how powerful. However, since Batman is super intelligent, that he is capable of defeating much greater villains with much greater odds and greater strengths, like Superman, for instance, in some comics, by overwhelming him with kryptonite and defeating like Lex Luthor and the Joker, who are extremely intelligent and extremely villainous in their actions. You would have a scenario where Batman would actually have a plan or a contingency plan if he should face Superman or Spider-Man in the future. And you would have a scenario where Batman would actually have a plan or a contingency plan if he should face Superman or Spider-Man in the future. And in a scenario where they would actually have to face, I would say that Spider-Man can just easily kill him, but he wouldn't use his entire strength until probably the last minute of the fight, because he is desperate. However, he would actually underestimate how smart Batman is, so he would actually he would lower his guard, and Batman would take full advantage of that, to the point where you think that Batman could actually use a technique where he knocks Spider-Man unconscious, therefore actually see him as the winner. However, Spider-Man has come out of extreme odds with very dangerous venoms from the hunters that are in his comic series, and I think he's capable of with his spider senses to actually catch up and actually be victorious against Batman. So in conclusion, I would like to say that I'm not basing any prejudice against Batman because I actually watch more serialized comics from DC rather than Marvel. But again, understanding how each character is has been developed, has shown how what are his strengths and what are his weaknesses. For the shortcomings that each character has, I would say that Batman has few of the weaknesses compared to strengths, but Spider-Man can eventually actually overcome and actually defeats Batman in a fight. So yeah,
Okay, thank you, Abdul Malik.
you're welcome.